Hello again, everyone. This is Randy, your sewing machine man. We're looking at a brother. Embroidery and sewing. SE425. SE means sewing and embroidering. Wow, clever. Okay. Brother, SE425. This particular one, I got it from a good customer of mine who had someone else look at it, and he diagnosed that the tension discs were dull and needed sharpening. And I said, wow, man, I better take a look at that because that's something I'm not familiar with. It'd be like telling your parts guy that you need some blinker fluid because your turn signal's not working. All right, so I had that kind of a feeling. So I thought I knew what was going on, and sure enough, what's going on is inside here. This is not a fancy schmancy electronic tension where you have the solenoid. This is just a regular analog, which is nice because you can fix it. Now I have it just kind of stuck together. I'm going to take it apart. First, I'll let you see that it works and makes a pretty stitch because that's what we're all about. I just kind of snapped it together. Whoa, that was just leaning up there, as you can see. That's pretty funny. I just had that leaning up there for appearance sake, so it didn't look like a junkyard going in here. Okay. Nice stitch underneath. It was looping like crazy before. There was no tension whatsoever. And the gentleman who was in the right area, but he was going about it in the wrong way. Let's turn this off here since we're going to be monkeying with the electronic stuff. We don't want to short anything out. But this is the analog part of it. Let's swing this back out of the way. Take this off. This comes right off. And you're like, wow, how's that come off so easy? Well, there's a whole bunch of screws in the back because people say, how did you get that off so easy? Well, let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws back there and around underneath. And I'd show you where they are, but I don't feel like it. Okay, this thing here unplugs so you can get it out of the way and not cause a problem. But right here is where the situation is solved. Right here. Now, there is a hole in the side here. And, of course, this swings from the bottom up. It swings up and comes out like so. Let me get the thread out of here so we can get to what we're doing. He had put on here tension adjusting. Well, that's true, except he had put something here and stripped it out, so it wasn't working. He had turned it all the way as far as it would go. But here's the deal, folks. I tell you, when you're threading your machines, always step one, raise the presser foot up. Watch this movement right here. Watch it. Let's get closer so you can see it, because I'm real close watching it. Let's see, right there. When you raise your presser foot up, you'll get this movement right here. See that very subtle movement? That opens the tension disc up. And the thread is black. See if I can find it here. Black's invisible just about. When you're threading it, that thread has to go between those discs like that. And it can get on either side of them. It can get all crazy wacky. It's got to go between the discs and then down underneath and behind the take-up. And at that point, you lower and then you pull and it clamps down on it. It clamps down. This doesn't have a big release. Some have a huge release when they open real wide. This one does not. But you can see it's released. When you drop it down, it's clamped down, nice and firm. So what happens when he stripped out the screw going in here, I guess he put a crescent or a metric in here, like so, to turn that, and he stripped it out. So what you do, you have to override it. There's a stop right here. Lift this stop up, and then you either turn the tumbler itself on the inside, get yourself a real clever pair of needle nose, and you turn it this way. See how it's turning? See how that little tumbler back there is turning? You have to unlock it first, get this off. Turns like that, and you can turn it lefty, loosey, righty, tighty. You set this on 4, of course, and then you set that so when you start stitching, it makes a nice stitch, and then you can make your adjustments from 3 to 5. But this was stripped out. Nothing wrong with the tension disc. Everybody was online trying to find new tension disc. Well, I've never replaced tension disc on a household machine. I've replaced them on industrials because the thread will cut grooves to them. It actually cut them in half. But not these machines. So we got it going, and it's just a matter of adjusting this right here, because this was stripped out. Normally you lift this up and you turn it and it goes very nicely. But we got it fixed up, and now it's going to sew, and it is sewing just like a brand new one, and my customer will be pleased because everybody was stumped. But it's logical. You have an analog spring compressed tension assembly. It's not rocket science, promise you. That's why I'm so good at this. It's not rocket science, okay? So you have to take the screws off the back, take top pops off. Be careful you don't pull anything loose, get anything goofy, and then put it all back together. When you put this back together, of course, the top hangs on here, and then it swings and snaps into place. If you don't know that little secret, it makes it kind of a pain. So getting it apart, getting it together, the thin candy shell, that's the hard part. Once you get there, it's easy to fix. You turn right there. You have to pull your stop off to make sure that it releases it. And then you turn it so it makes a nice stitch on 4, and then you're done. All right? This is the Brother Embroidery and Sewing SE425, fixing the tension. Okay? Thanks.